Hey, my name is Craig Thompson, and I'm the author of this book, Space Dumplings. And if you're stuck in bed, hopefully you still have some fun things to do, like read a book, or play some video games, or maybe, if you're lucky, have a friend visit. But sometimes, when you're stuck in bed, it's just good to sleep. So that's why I was going to read this book, Dr. Seuss's Sleep Book, one of my old favorites. There's a couple yawning yellow critters on the front. All right. You see that okay? The news just came in from the county of Keck that a very small bug, very small, by the name of Vleck, is yawning so wide you can look down his neck. This may not seem very important, I know, but it is. So I'm bothering you, telling you so. A yawn is quite catching, you see, like a cough. It just takes one yawn to start other yawns off. One yawn. And the news has come in that some friends of Van Vleck's are yawning so wide you can look down their necks. Ah. At this moment right now, under 7 more noses, great yawns are in blossom. They're blooming like roses. The yawn of that one little bug is still spreading. According to latest reports, it is heading across the wide fields through the sleepy night air, across the whole country towards every which where. And people are gradually starting to say, I feel rather drowsy. I've had quite a day. Creatures are starting to think about rest. 2 bifferbaum birds are now building their nest. They do it each night, and quite often I wonder, how do they do this big job without making a blunder? But that is their problem, not yours, and not mine. The point is, they're going to bed, and that's fine. Sleep thoughts are spreading throughout the whole land. The time for night brushing of teeth is at hand. Up at Herkheimer Falls, where the great river rushes and crashes down crags in great gargling gushes, the Herkheimer sisters are using their brushes. They're so tiny right here. Those falls are just grand for toothbrushing beneath, if you happen to be up that way with your teeth. That does look like a pretty good way to brush your teeth. It would make it more fun. The news just came in from the castle of Krupp. And the lights are all out, and the drawbridge is up. And the old drawbridge drawer just said with a yawn, My drawbridge is drawn, and it's going to stay drawn, till the milkman delivers the milk about dawn. I'm going to bed now, so nobody better come round with a special delivery letter. Drawing up the drawbridge. The number of sleepers is steadily growing. Bed is where more and more people are going. The Culpeper Springs and the Stiltwalkers Hall, the Stiltwalkers stilts are all stacked on the wall. The Stiltwalker walkers have called it a day. They're all tuckered out and they're snoozing away. This is very big news. It's important to know, and that's why I'm telling you so. That's a lot of Stiltwalkers snoring away. Hopefully their stilts don't fall on them. Way out in the west, in the town of Merced, the Hinkle honking club just went to bed. Every horn has been quietly hung on a hook for the night in its own private Hinkle nook. That's George's, Henry's, Freddie's Hinkle horns. All this long, happy day they've been honking about, and the Hinkle honkers have honked themselves out. But they'll wake up quite fresh in the morning, and then they'll start right in Hinkle honking again. I don't know if that's a good thing. Sometimes it's nice to have a break from all that Hinkle honking. Oh man, this guy is awesome. Everywhere, creatures are falling asleep. The Collapsible Frank. That's Collapsible Frank. That's who that is. The Collapsible Frank just collapsed in a heap. And by adding the Frank to the others before, I'm able to give you the Who's Asleep score. Right now, 40,404 creatures are happily, deeply in slumber. I think you'll agree. That's a whopping fine number. Pretty good. 444,000 something. Counting up sleepers? Just how do we do it? Really quite simple. There's nothing much to it. We find out how many, we learn the amount by an audio-tally-o count. On a mountain, halfway between Reno and Rome, we have a machine in a plexiglass dome which listens and looks into everyone's home. And whenever it sees a new sleeper go flop, it jiggles and lets a new biggle ball drop. These are biggle balls. Ding, 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 ding. Our chap counts these balls as they plop in a cup, and that's how we know who is down and who's up. Do you talk in your sleep? It's a wonderful sport. It's a pretty good sport. I mean, I don't know if it's technically a sport, but for the book's purposes. And I have some news of this sport to report. The world champion sleep talkers, Joe and Mo Redsoff, oh wait, this is Joe, that's Mo, have just gone to sleep and they're talking their heads off. For 55 years, now each chattering brother has babbled and gabbled all night to the other. They've talked about laws and they've talked about gauze, they've talked about paws and they've talked about flaws. They've talked quite a lot about old Santa Claus. It's a good subject. And the reason I'm telling you this is because you should take up this sport. It's just fine for the jaws. Rah, rah, rah. Yeah, it's good exercise while you're sleeping. Speaking of, do you walk in your sleep? I just had a report of some interesting news of this popular sport. Near Finnegan Fen, there's a sleepwalking group which not only walks, but it walks a la hoop. Like a hula hoop, you know? Every night they go miles. Why, they walk to such length that they have to keep eating to keep up their strength. So every so often, one puts down his hoop, stops hooping and does some quick snooping for soup. That's why they are known as the Hoop Soup Snoop Group. Yep, there we go. The Hoop Snoop Soup Group. Ah, that looks fun. That's pretty fun. Oh. This looks fun, but potentially dangerous. Don't try this at home. Sleepwalking, too, are the curious crandalls, who sleepwalk on hills with assorted size candles. The crandalls walk nightly in slumbering peace, in spite of slight burns from the hot dripping grease. There you go, not safe to do at home. I would not do that. The crandalls wear candles because they walk far, and if they wake up, want to see where they are. See the crandalls? Pretty cool. This guy's pretty cool too. Pretty cool. Now, the news has arrived from the Valley of Vale that a Chippendale mupp has just bitten his tail, which he does every night before shutting his eyes. Such nipping sounds silly, but really it's wise. He has no alarm clock, that's why. He has no alarm clock, so this is the way he makes sure that he'll wake at the right time of day. His tail is so long, he won't feel any pain till the nip makes the trip and gets up to his brain. In exactly 8 hours, the Chippendale mupp will at last feel the bite and yell, "Ouch!" and wake up. Now, that's pretty useful built-in alarm clock, if you ask me. A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmichael Crocs. That is a weird name. A Mr. and Mrs. J. Carmichael Crocs have just gone to bed near the town of Fort Knox, and they, by the way, have the finest of clocks. I'm not at all sure that I quite understand just how the thing works with that one extra hand. It is a confusing clock. Look at that. But I do know this clock does one very slick trick. It doesn't tick-tock. How it goes is tock-tick. So with ticks in its tocker and tocks in its ticker, it saves lots of time and the sleepers sleep quicker. This is one of my favorite pages because these guys have some cool little vehicle machines. Can you see that okay? What a fine night for sleeping. From all that I hear, it's the best night for sleeping in many a year. They're even asleep in the Zweeback Motel, and people don't usually sleep there too well. The beds are like rocks, and as everyone knows, the sheets are too short, they won't come over your toes. So if people are actually sleeping in there, it's a great night for sleeping. It must be the air. Look at those cool machines. I think I want to drive in that one. Because it has an umbrella, and it has a ski sled, and then nubby wheels. It's a great night for snores. I don't know about that. Yeah, hopefully you don't hear too many snores. You hear a lot of snores when you're trying to sleep? It's a great night for snores. I just had a report of some boys who are tops in their musical sport. The snortiest snorers in all of our fair land, the snorter McPhail and his Snore-a-Snort band. This band can snore Dixie and Old Swanee River. I guess those are old-fashioned songs. I don't know them either. So loud it would make 40 elephants shiver. Well, you could substitute your favorite song for that line. The loudest of all of the boys is McPhail. He snores with his head in a 3-gallon pail. So they snore in a cave 20 miles out of town. If they snored closer in, they would snore the town down. That sounds annoying. Do you know who's asleep out in Funa Laguna? The two very Funa Laguna Boboona. Those are Funa Laguna Boboona. Easy to identify. We've added them into our Who's Asleep count, which has grown to a really amazing amount. Exactly 8,808,008 creatures are sleeping now. Isn't that great? That's a lot of sleeping. 8,000,008. What's this? Poofball. This pretty much looks like the coziest bed I've ever seen. It's like 1 million, maybe it's 8 million poofballs. A Jed, that's Jed. A Jed is in his bed. And the bed of a Jed is the softest of beds in the world, it is said. He makes it from pom-poms he grows on his head, and he's sleeping right now on the softest of fluff, completely exhausted from growing the stuff. That's pretty useful. He can grow his own fluff out of his head and sleep in it as his bed. The news has come in from the district of Draft. Let's try that again. You know, Dr. Seuss sometimes, he's such a tongue twister. Tricky guy. The news has come in from the district of Doft that 2 oft are asleep and they're asleep in the loft. And how are they able to sleep off the ground? I'll tell you. I weighed one last week and I found that an oft is so light he weighs -1 pound. That's cool. That's how I want to sleep. That looks that looks maybe comfier than the fluff balls. A moose is asleep. He is dreaming of moose drinks. Moose juice. A goose is asleep. He is dreaming of goose drinks. Goose juice. That's well and good when a moose dreams of moose goose, and nothing goes wrong when a goose dreams of goose juice. But it isn't too good when a moose and a goose start dreaming they're drinking the other one's juice. Not good. Moose juice, not goose juice, is juice for a moose. And goose juice, not moose juice, is juice for a goose. So when goose gets a mouthful of juices of mooses, and moose gets a mouthful of juices of gooses, they always fall out of their beds screaming screams. So, I'm warning you now, never drink in your dreams. Certainly, moose juice, disgusting. Speaking of dreaming, I think you should note that the Bumble Tub Club is now dreaming afloat. Look at that! Floating on dreams. Every night they go dreaming down Bumble Tub Creek, except for one night every 3rd or 4th week, when they stop for repairs because their Bumble Tubs leak. And tonight they're afloat, full of dreams, full of bliss. And that's why I'm bothering you, telling you this. Hopefully I'm not bothering you too much by telling all these stories in your bed. Hopefully it's a pleasant distraction. At the fork of a road in the Vale of Vavode, 5 foot-weary salesmen have laid down their load. Sorry, my blankets keep getting in the way. That's the trouble with reading in bed. Can you see that illustration? 5 foot-weary salesmen have laid down their load. All day they've raced round in the heat at top speeds, unsuccessfully trying to sell zizzers of seeds, which nobody wants because nobody really needs. Tomorrow will come. They'll go back to their chore. They'll start on the road, zizzer zoofing once more. But tonight they've forgotten their feet are so sore, and that's what the wonderful nighttime is for. Man, zoozers seeds. And they ride on cool like camel-like things. Can you see that okay? Everywhere, creatures have shut off their voices. They've all gone to bed in the beds of their choices. They're sleeping in bushes. They're sleeping in crannies. Some on their stomachs, like me, and some on their fannies. They're peacefully sleeping in comfortable holes, some even on soft-tuffed barbershop poles. Look at those guys up there on the barbershop poles. The number of sleepers is now past the millions. The number of sleepers is now in the billions. Billions on barbershop poles and whatnot. They're sleeping on steps and on strings and on floors and mailboxes, ships in the keyholes of doors. Every worm on a fishhook is safe for the night. Every fish in the sea is too sleepy to bite. Every whale in the ocean, you see the whales? See the whales? Is too sleepy. Sorry, every whale in the ocean has turned off his spout. Not spraying when they're sleeping, they're just kind of sleeping. Every light between here and Farfoodle is out. And now, adding things up, we are way beyond billions. Our Who's Asleep score is now up in the zillions. Think about it, zillions of people, creatures, Zubelzoffs and all those things sleeping at the same time. These guys, that doesn't look very comfy. This seems like the opposite of sleeping on the floofballs, sleeping on a staircase. But that looks nice, sleeping in a flower. This looks really nice. It looks sort of like one of those bouncy gyms in the sky. That does not look safe or comfortable. He's hanging from the mast of a ship. He doesn't seem to mind. Oh, look at that. Look at so much detail. He's the best. 99 zillion, 9 trillion and 2 creatures are sleeping. So how about you? You sleeping? When you put out your light, then the number will be 99 zillion, 9 trillion and 3. So many people, including you, will be sleeping. Can you read that? Is it too small? Can you read it? It says, good night. So, there you go. That's this book, Dr. Seuss's Sleep Book. I hope it's new to you. I hope it wasn't too repetitive. I hope you could see the drawings, because they're like the coolest drawings ever. And, yeah, I hope you feel better. So, if you feel like sleeping, maybe that book will inspire you. But again, you know, I hope you just find something fun to do while you're hanging out in bed. And thank you for watching me read that book and for supporting Bedstock, this amazing event. Hope you feel better. Okay.